You probably see this all the time on your feed. If everyone is hiring, why can nobody get a job? Jobs are no longer hiring. Why finding a job feels impossible right now? The job market is in crisis. Job hunting madness. Why can't you find a job? Let me explain to you why. For the most part, this is fear-mongering and it's a load of crap. And if you think I'm full of crap and my advice won't work, and what I tell you is just stupid, go watch my video down in the description or search it up. It's called I Investigated the Job Market, and you will see exactly how I got hired 8 times in 3 days with 0 work experience. Watch this video first and then go watch that other video to see exactly what I'm talking about, to prove that I'm not full of crap. And this is the correct way to do things. But make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get to the video. It may be hard for a certain type of job to find work, but there's jobs everywhere. All these are videos, so let's jump into the comments to actually see what normal people are talking about. In one of these videos, they mentioned that talking to people is a great way to find a job. Oh, so I have to socialize with strangers? Okay, yeah, you do. That is actually the best way to get a job. When I did this video on investigating the job market, I found that just by talking to people, I got tons of leads on potential job openings. And I even got hired just by talking to people. I didn't even have to submit an application, and I got hired pretty much on the spot. So yes, socializing does work. Also, some companies will post a position online knowing they aren't going to hire anyone externally. They are required by HR to check those boxes in order to promote from within. 100% this guy is correct. That's actually how I got a lot of positions. When I was asking for a transfer or promotion to another higher position like supervisor, foreman, whatever, every single time they said, sure, but we need you to apply for that position. So they actually opened the position online for me, and all I did was just apply. Then they called me in the next day. I told them I applied, and they just hired me right then and there. It does kind of suck for people who maybe saw that position open and they started sending the application in, but hey, that's honestly how it works. If you were working for a company, wouldn't you want to be promoted from within that company? So honestly, I think that's a good thing that they do this. It sucks for people looking for jobs, but it's great for people who have worked in the job to get promoted. 4 months out of work. My age and how I look is what's happening. As soon as I get on a Zoom call, it's over. Unfortunately, yes, how you present yourself and how you look 100% matters. I'm sure you hear all the time, oh, looks don't matter, looks don't matter. Looks matter. I'll tell you that right now. If you look like a complete slob, you're not getting a job. Most positions, you have to look presentable for. Been unemployed since 2021. Over 1,000 applications, 3 interviews, and no offer in 3 years, even with over 10 years experience. How is that possible? What is your job and what are you applying for? At some point, you gotta think to yourself, what am I doing that's wrong? Am I looking for something that's out of my scope? Am I applying to a lot of just these scam jobs that are out there? There's a lot of job postings that aren't actually real companies or that aren't actually looking for people, but there's no reason you should apply to it. You should send 1,000 applications and not receive a single job offer. I have a little over 10 years of experience in my field. If I were to go right now and apply for a job, I would get hired maybe by the end of the day, but definitely by the end of the week. Why do I know this? Well, I already did it. I already applied for a job just to see how quick it would be, and within the week, I got it. Did I accept it? No, because I wasn't actually looking for a job. I was just seeing if I could get hired, and I did. So I do believe that there's something off about this that's not realistic. I'm sure you know somebody from places you've worked before. Give them a call. You were friends with somebody, right? Give them a call, see if they can squeeze you in somewhere or if they know somebody. It's honestly the best way to get hired, instead of just hoping that an AI will filter out your application and actually push you through. 1,700 jobs applied to, still nothing. Resulted to upskilling, taking courses, but this is insanity at this point. I think he meant resorted to upskilling, taking courses. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are having trouble finding a job, that's actually a good idea to start investing in other skills to expand the type of jobs you look for. Automated tracking system software weeds out a lot of resumes sent in online before a real HR employee sees any of these resumes. 100%. That's the problem with mass sending an application in. A lot of these companies just have an automated system that just filters you out before you get a chance to be seen, which is why calling the company, calling somebody who works there, networking with people is a great way to get a job. They can skip the step of automation and just send you straight through the hiring manager. I once tried to work at a store and was told that there were no positions, but the clerk who was Indian gave it to another Indian who asked for a job. Not all businesses are like this, but a lot of times I noticed that once an ethnicity is in the door, they only refer their own friends and family until the whole staff is one ethnicity, in my case, Indian. I've 100% seen this happen. Asian, Indian, and Muslim communities are great with sticking together. Yes, that's discrimination, but you can't really prove that. How are you gonna prove that they discriminated against you? You can't. They just say, oh, well, this person was more qualified. What are you gonna do? You can sue them, but that's not gonna do anything. So they definitely can't get away with this, and I've seen it happen firsthand. And again, that's a perfect example of how they network. They hire their own ethnicity, their friends and family, which means they know each other and they know how they operate, and it's easier to manage somebody who thinks similar to you. So I kind of can't fault them for that. I'm 23 and I had enough of those false entry-level jobs. I had a few interviews and they were like, I can see a lack of experience on your CV. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry, I was busy being a effing student. When I did my investigation on the job market, I said I was 23. I got hired 8 times within 3 days. And within the first day, I had at least 1 job offer. And every single time I said I was 23 years old with 0 experience. And I still got hired. So the jobs are out there. Maybe it's not the job you want, but it's a way to get your foot in the door. I got a job yesterday out of sheer luck. I had applied for over 500 jobs in the span of 5 months and only got 3 interviews. Bosses, I don't understand why people aren't working much anymore. Entry-level job, master's degree, 3 years experience preferred, must be able to maintain positive and professional attitude, must be able to carry 50 tons of paperwork, assisting people and coworkers, work within a team, must work full-time required, pay rate $15 to $16 an hour. I actually do know that some jobs are very similar to this. Maybe not master's degree, but bachelor's degree, where they'll expect you to have all this crazy stuff for an entry-level position, but the pay is like under $20 an hour. I'll tell you right now, any kind of apprenticeship or entry-level trade position, they're gonna pay you around $20 an hour, and you don't have to know anything. You probably don't even have to have touched a tool in your life, and you'll be accepted, and you'll be making around $20 an hour. I applied to 600 jobs in the past 3 weeks, literally applying to every job that comes out in my area, remote, relocation, and he updated it. I found a job that pays 50% more than my last. Good job, buddy. Again, we see this as kind of a trend. People apply to hundreds, thousands of jobs, and most of them get hired. So it's kind of like a numbers game, but that's good he got hired, and he got a 50% raise. That's great. Managers hire previous employees and employee referrals. It eliminates 98% of hopeful applicants. Again, this is similar to what I said before, but this is talking about hiring previous employees and employee referrals. It's a less of a risk for a manager because he knows they know how the company operates and they'll just jump right back into the position. Employee referrals, they trust their workers, and if their workers refer someone, they're more likely to give that person a position. People like to say it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's a safer bet to bet on someone who you already know than just a random stranger. We're hiring nowadays means if you like making enough to live with your parents or 3 to 5 roommates, we got a job for you. Ghost jobs should be illegal, very demoralizing for job seekers. I think any company found listing a ghost job should be fined $500,000. How are you gonna regulate a ghost job? As long as they're showing that they're interviewing people, then it's not a ghost job. They don't have to ever hire someone, but they just show they interview people and they do 1 interview every month or 3 months, and it's not a ghost job anymore. So you can easily get around that. More regulation isn't going to solve the problem. They don't pay enough. The minimum wage needs to be the minimum required to live basic life. I do agree with that. Maybe you won't have all the things you ever wanted, but you should be able to rent a single bedroom apartment and enough money to eat and pay necessary bills like electricity, insurance, etc. Minimum wage is barely enough to even make rent. And that's if you're lucky with where you live half the time. If working 40 hours can't even prevent me from being homeless, I might as well be homeless and not stressed to the breaking point at a job that doesn't need nor care about me. I actually struggled with this in 2012. Back when I first started, I was making minimum wage, which was like $8.50 back then. When I would work 40 hours a week, I would have just enough money for rent. I didn't have a car, and I was eating pizza and ramen and sandwiches every meal, every day. I'd had 0 furniture in my apartment, and I didn't even have a bed. I had just like a mattress on the floor, and I lived in like a horrible ghetto area. The only times where I would eat a little bit better and started to actually save money was when I worked 48 hours. I'd work a Saturday and I'd work a Sunday. So I'd be working 56 hours a week, and all that would go towards saving up some kind of money to hopefully buy a car or a bike or get out of there and go to a better area. It's like anything where sometimes people don't have a wage problem, they have a spending problem. Yes, people should make more money, but you also need to know how to budget yourself. I applied to over 170 job listings over the past few months, from manufacturing to service, got 2 interviews, and in both they didn't even pretend they were even listening or cared, and they never called back. I guarantee you if you apply to any kind of helper, position or apprenticeship position, at minimum, 1 out of 10 will hire you. Why can nobody find a job? Too long didn't read, companies are evil. Depends on the company, really. Just work for a small company, because small companies are people. Big companies are corporations, and they're usually shareholders. They don't really care as much. Companies can't pay well. Yeah, right. That's why they keep bragging about record profits. What happens with inflation? Prices will increase, and when prices increase of goods, materials, and services, what companies do is they will increase their prices to match those other price increases. What they won't do is give raises matching the increase to their employees. If inflation goes up by 10% on materials, goods, and services, the company will increase their margins by 10% to match, but they'll only give the people raises about 2%. And then they're still making money because they increase their prices. They're making more money, but they're actually not making more profit. The amount of money they made, in reality, if you took away all the inflation, is the exact same. They make the same amount every year if you take out inflation. Reason 1, experience required for entry-level positions, which is the dumbest contradiction ever. Reason 2, lousy pay for work put in. 3, many of the good jobs are in high cost living areas, which means you need a long commute or be prepared to never have any savings. Experience required for entry-level positions. A lot of places will say required. Just apply anyways. Any place that you think you're not qualified for, just apply and see what happens. Lousy pay for work put in. Yep, that's how it starts. Any brand new employee is gonna work long hours and crappy hours for low pay. When you start, that's how every single job is like that. As soon as you start with your first job, you're gonna get bad jobs and low pay. For number 3, about the high cost of living areas, actually, let me get to this. So here's a wage map for electricians, for example. If you notice, the wages are higher in historically higher cost of living areas. So if you live in, say, California, Hawaii, 2 of the most high cost living states in the country, the annual mean wage for electricians are $70,000 to about $90,000. Whereas if you go to a state that has historically low cost of living, like let's say Arkansas, you're looking at only $36,000 to about $55,000. That's about half of other states. So in reality, a lot of these places make the exact same amount of money. You kind of just don't know it because of the cost of living. One thing stands out as incorrect from this video. Companies absolutely can pay more. They choose not to, instead using that cash to enrich those in power, depending on the company. Some companies operate on such tight margin, unfortunately, because they don't know how to budget correctly. But I've also seen a lot of companies have a huge spending problem. One company, I know I'm not going to say what it is, but one company spent $80 million on this tech program to help improve their process. It never worked. So instead of, paying people, giving people good bonuses or raises, they blew it all on this freaking pretty much scam that didn't help the company at all. My dad doesn't believe this is an actual thing. 1 year, 700 applications later, only 8 interviews, 4 of which were middlemen hiring companies and not the actual employer. And then another 3 months later, Lowe's. So he got 2 retail jobs, which are the lowest paying in the entire type of job industry. Bro, if you want to make more money, get into the trades. I'm telling you this right now. If you don't like retail, get into the trades. You're gonna start off around 20, and then within 4 to 5 years, you'll be making 30 plus. Depending on where you go, what union you're in, if you're in a union, it could be $30 to $70 an hour. I'm a 6-year Navy vet who operated nuclear power plants, managed personnel, and have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. What the bachelor's in graphic design doesn't do anything for you. Nuclear power plant management. Maybe try looking for a job in a different kind of plant, and maybe not as a manager, maybe as like a supervisor. I know there's programs to help veterans get jobs. Maybe try that, I don't know. Not only can I not find work in areas I want or I am actually qualified for, I struggle to find jobs in basic stuff that is at best going to put food on my plate. Forget having a place to live or any sort of comfort. You kind of got to find work in the areas that there's work. Maybe you don't want to live in a certain area. You want to find a job in an area that's close to your house or close to where you like, that's comfortable for you. Sometimes you gotta move or take a longer commute to get to where that job is. When I worked in the shipyards, I knew guys that lived 3 hours away, and every single day they would drive to get to work. Do they want to drive 3 hours a day for their commute? Do they want to do that? No, but it's the only way they could find the work they wanted for good pay. I can't even get hired at Walmart or Lowe's. Lowe's sends me a, sorry, we're looking at other candidates, email at midnight. Yep, that's probably their hiring team in a foreign country. That's why it's sent at midnight, because that's when they're awake and working. Remember, they outsource a lot of this stuff as well. It's because employees refuse to train people. There's no worker shortage. There's a shortage of cheap labor. If you are getting hired and you ask about training, don't ever do that, because as soon as you ask about training, that shows that you're someone that they need to work on. They don't want to work on people because working on people costs them money. They prefer a trained person so they can just bring in to make the money. The company's job is to make money. If they have someone that they're going to be spending money on, that's not a good thing. So don't ever tell people that you need training or that you would like to train more. I don't get it, because yes, that should show an incentive that you're willing to improve yourself, but it's always a red flag for employers, which is a little odd. And yeah, of course, everyone's trying to get cheap labor. I applied to Home Depot. They wouldn't even guarantee a 20-hour week. Wanted to pay 10 hours, wanted to pay $10 an hour, and wanted my availability wide open. Of course, they're desperate for workers. Guys, I have an interview tomorrow. Wish me luck. Pay is not great though, but I have been unemployed for 8 months. That's good he found a job. I'd say if you don't have a job, accept any job that you can get. And then once you're employed, look for a better paying job, because it's always better for an employer to look for someone who's already employed, because it shows that there's a reason you're employed. They see that you're valuable in some way. They don't know what that way is, but they see you're valuable enough to have a job. In good times, I can apply to 100 places, get 4 interviews, and be hired inside a month. In these much harder times, I applied to 7,000 jobs, got 8 interviews, and was hired after 18 months. 7,000. How do you apply to 7,000 jobs? Do you know how long that would take? 7,000? Especially if I have to do like questionnaires. What jobs are you applying to? Do you just see any job and you just apply to it? He just spams his resume everywhere without actually putting any thought into it. And maybe that's why he's having issues. It is always good if you send a resume out to a company to kind of tailor your resume to the company's website. You just type in, I don't know, Apple. You're working for Apple, and you look at their company website, see their core values or whatever they say, and see what they're looking for in the job listing, and kind of copy what they have, but in your own words to your resume. Advice: try looking for a job through friends, acquaintances, or just try finding someone who knows someone. This is how it basically works today. Nobody cares about your skills or experience or degree. No idea why. So they actually do care about your skills, experience, and degree, but to an extent. I've seen people applying to 3,000 jobs before getting a response. It's getting ridiculous. I've applied to hundreds and have a portfolio with, I'm in college applying to internships and hear nothing. An automated rejection email is a win these days. Don't give up, but it's tough out there. As weird and as out of your comfort zone this is gonna sound, your best bet is to find a company that you're interested in working for to internship with, and go to the company. And your goal of this company is not to talk to the CEO. Your goal is to maybe talk to somebody who works there and get some information on the company. Message someone on social media that works there. Say, hey, I saw you worked here. How is it? Start asking them questions. Build a rapport with these people that will help you secure an internship. I'm not even joking about this. I'm serious. It will. Been unemployed since June 5th. So far, I've put in at least 150 applications, still unable to find a job. The job market is being propped by people working 2 low-wage jobs, and people who have careers can't find jobs. I have a few friends who have been laid off more than 6 months, and they can't find anything. Many of these job postings are not even real. Do you see this picture? This is a satellite picture of vacant land. I measured it. You can do that on Google Maps. I measured it. It's about a mile long. And then below it, you have another vacant section. You see there's already patterns or indentations in the dirt. That is the initial phase of the construction project of doing layout for the roads and the buildings they're going to put there. This is one picture. This is already a mile long, and then you got another half mile long down here, and on the left side you can see more future projects that they're already starting on. I have another picture of this huge lot, and you can base it off of the size of these houses. How many more houses are going to be built right here? I have another picture. Boom. You see another wide open new construction area that's being built. I have another one, and just reference one house you see, how big this land is, and you'll get an idea of how many projects are going on and are going to go on in the future. Now is the time to get into some kind of building or construction career, because the construction career, I believe for every 4 people who leave, only 1 joins. So it's actually dying. The growth rate is trash compared to every other industry. Now's your time, because all these new projects are going on right now. In reality, people think it's like the hardest job and you're gonna kill yourself. It's not. Depending on what career you get, 99% of trade jobs are really not that bad. You're not killing your body. Yeah, you get dinged up every now and again with your hands or whatnot, because you're working with your hands. but you're not destroying your body. And I know for a fact a lot of guys like to pretend that it's a hard job and it's low pay and it's garbage, because they're trying to gatekeep you from joining. There's so much work, and this industry has so few people, and definitely so few skilled people, that they are desperate. Some people can say whatever they want, but I can't even get a part-time job in retail. Just ridiculous. Don't go retail, especially as your profile looks like. It looks like you're a girl. Women account for 2% of tradesmen in the industry. If you apply, you will 100% be pushed to the front of the line as a woman. And what a lot of people don't tell you is women in the trades get treated like queens because they're the only freaking women there, surrounded by guys. So of course, every guy's gonna look out for you and have your back and whatever. Some guys are a little bit more creepy when they do that, but a lot of guys are just trying to look out for the women of the job, because a lot of these guys are married or have daughters, and they're good guys. They're just trying to watch out because they know how rough it can be for new people. Don't listen to the crap people complain about online about, it's too hard to work in construction, blue collar work is breaking my back, it's killing my body, I'm abused every day, it's low pay. It's a load of crap. Don't listen to all this woe is me, feel sorry for me, the job market's crashing, the economy's dead, because there's plenty of jobs out there. You're just not looking in the right place. I'm looking at you. Go talk to people. If you want to see how I was able to get 8 jobs within 3 days, go watch my video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below any advice you have for someone who's potentially looking for a job, or if this video actually helped you. And if you have any questions about how to get in the trades, let me know and I will answer, or people in the trades will answer in the comments down below.